It's death penalty for a Loree McBride Jesuit to practice law. A Loree McBride Jesuit is defined as a sentient being who willingly and knowingly practices law or practices anything in any form to directly or indirectly assist Loree McBride, the sentient being who claims to be the mother of Brent Spiner's son Jackson, and or her willing and knowing supporters in their bid for political control. All current licensed attorneys must be scanned with mind and emotion reads to determine if they're a Loree McBride Jesuit. If so, their law license must be revoked for treason. Loree McBride Jesuits are denied due process with rare exceptions. See section 2.1 below. And anyone who willingly and knowingly, directly or indirectly attempts to give them due process will get the death penalty as a Jesuit conspirator. Loree McBride Jesuits have taken advantage of their due process rights to the point that they flagrantly violate the existing laws, twist them to their advantage, and create cases out of the blue using fabricated evidence against their victims. They then blast their fabricated evidence into mainstream news, essentially using propaganda against their enemies in an attempt to overthrow them. This has gone too far, and as a result of this, Loree McBride Jesuits are from this day forward denied due process in all conspiracy law honoring nations. That would include the United States and Russia. If the case has gone forward into the courts, the guilty parties who have had a case brought forward by Loree McBride Jesuits will also be fined with the amount determined by how much financial damage they've brought to innocent parties. Any further attempts to further any case initiated or continued by a Loree McBride Jesuit will bring the death penalty as a Jesuit conspirator to that violator. The only right Loree McBride Jesuits have is the death penalty, because they're guilty of massive war crimes against the human race. Loree McBride Jesuits are not entitled to due process except in rare situations where the case is not related in any way to government, politics, and control over populations. In these rare cases where it seems viable that a Loree McBride Jesuit is entitled to due process, Loree and or her willing and knowing supporter will have their case evaluated by a team of conspiracy law honoring attorneys to determine if Loree and or her willing and knowing supporter are entitled to due process. They can only have due process if the case is not related to politics in any form whatsoever. If it's determined they are eligible for due process by our team of conspiracy law honoring attorneys, they will be appointed an attorney by our team of conspiracy law honoring attorneys. This attorney must practice law with integrity in a way that honors conspiracy law while representing the Loree McBride Jesuit. For cases that have already seen the light of day and have been brought to public attention by Loree McBride Jesuit attorneys like Comey cases, F.B.I. cases, the Stormy Daniels case, and the raiding of Trump's attorney Michael Cohen, all Loree McBride Jesuit attorneys involved in ongoing cases must retract their cases or be executed as a Loree McBride Jesuit attorney. Any case going forward that has been brought by a Loree McBride Jesuit attorney in part or in whole that has not been retracted will bring the death penalty as a Jesuit conspirator to all knowing and willing violators. And the Loree McBride Jesuits involved must be executed publicly on the Gabriel Chana Fox News channel as a Loree McBride Jesuit whose goal is to assist Loree McBride in an evil takeover of the country. Once a case brought by a Loree McBride Jesuit has been retracted, no news media organization can report on that case without getting clearance for their report from the Gail Committee. See Section 11 of this Conspiracy Laws and Government Part 4 document above. I'll have links underneath this video. Those news media organizations that willingly and knowingly report on a Loree McBride Jesuit retracted case, see Section 12.2 above. They're numbered in the links below this video. Without clearance from the Gail Committee and or who get clearance but willingly and knowingly do not report the Loree McBride Jesuit case as instructed by the Gail Committee will get the death penalty as a Loree McBride Jesuit, and their news organization will also be fined. See Section 17 to 22 of International Laws for Clones. A Loree McBride Jesuit case is any case that falls under the jurisdiction of this Section 12. I'm reading Section 12 of Conspiracy Laws and Government Part 4. In other words, is a case involving a Loree McBride Jesuit attorney. A news media organization is defined as a news media organization that is recognized as a news media organization, such as Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, the New York Times, etc., and is any organization that hires people to assist it in research, reporting, etc., of the news or current events and has a following of at least 500,000 people. In other words, if the organization has enough of a following, 500,000 or more, that it can afford to hire people to assist it in news reporting, it's considered a news media organization. Further, all attorneys who have had their law licenses revoked as Loree McBride Jesuits will be listed on the Gabriel Chana Fox News Channel 00 on cable. The list must differentiate between clones, automatons, and authentic persons in cases where one version of a person is innocent, but another version is guilty of being a Loree McBride Jesuit. Scanners must be set up in all courtrooms or areas where any trial is being held, and all who initiate a case or represent anyone in any legal case for any legal hearing, investigation, trial, or any venue where they are practicing law must be scanned to determine that the attorney is not a Loree McBride Jesuit. An attorney is defined as anyone who practices law or who represents anybody in any legal venue, including self-representation. If the scanner determines that a Loree McBride Jesuit has showed up in the venue, the scanner will be programmed to execute the Loree McBride Jesuit attorney on the spot. Because this is such a massive undertaking to set up scanners for all Loree McBride Jesuit attorneys, the scanners will first be set up in areas where cases involving significant persons, that's Gail, her men, and political leaders are occurring. Scanners for legal venues involving significant persons need to be set up immediately or as soon as possible. Scanners should be set up in all areas where any legal venue is occurring by May 16, 2018. These scanners must be working 24/7 in all venues where attorneys operate. No attorney can do his or her job as an attorney without having a Loree McBride Jesuit scanner operational where he does his or her work as an attorney. This is mandatory, and those attorneys who willingly and knowingly fail to have such scanners operational in all areas where they work will have their law licenses revoked. If they are not an attorney but are practicing law or representing themselves or others in legal cases, they too must have a scanner set up in all areas where they practice law in any form, and failure to do so will be grounds for arrest as a possible Loree McBride Jesuit. The Loree McBride Jesuit attorney scanner will be programmed by the nanotechnology research team there on Church of Gail, and it is now law that such a scanner must be set up in all areas where law is practiced. The scanner will be programmed to detect the presence of a Loree McBride Jesuit attorney and will hopefully make it very difficult for Loree McBride to use switch-out technology to switch out a conspiracy law honoring attorney with a Loree McBride attorney during legal proceedings. If this scanner is willingly and knowingly programmed by anybody to negate conspiracy law or neglect to enforce it in any way as outlined in conspiracy law, that programmer will receive the death penalty as a Loree McBride Jesuit conspirator. Okay, so those are my new laws, and I felt this is necessary because this case involving Michael Cohen, where a Loree McBride Jesuit attorney is obviously involved in this case. It's got, they have illegally violated, it's just the case is illegal from top to bottom. Loree McBride knows she's guilty. And what she's doing is fabricating evidence, looking for evidence, and this has got to end. It's just, and she has control over the news media. That's the problem. And what she does is she's looking for fabricated evidence. And what I think it's going to amount to, if this law of mine is not enforced, is she's going to be able to find fabricated. She's going to find stuff, claim she's going to claim she's found it. She's going to smudge the facts. She's going to fabricate evidence. She's going to present it as evidence in the news, and basically, these cases are going to be tried in the court of public opinion, and that's not the way it should be. So to stop this, that's why I've written this law.